Welcome back to the Fan League YouTube channel. It's game week 26. We're going to go through 3 games. Rory's here with me from CFC Fan TV. We've just done the One for the Weekend podcast. Go and check that out on the Long Ball Street channel. But there are 3 games that we're going to pick and we're going to say what we think is going to happen. We're going to offer some expert knowledge.
Taking this very seriously.
That's what we do each week, right? Kicking off with West Brom versus Southampton. Both have bought strikers in the January transfer window. Sturridge for West Brom, which is a very exciting one. Pardew said that when fit, Sturridge is like having Harry Kane in your team. Would you agree with that? And do you think Southampton, who have signed Carrillo from Monaco, do you think he'll... Well, those two are going to be going head-to-head. I don't know if you know much about Carrillo. I've done a bit of research on it, so I'll reveal that in a second. But Sturridge, do you think he's as good as Kane when he's fit?
No.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely not.
Nonsense.
Harry Kane is... It'd be easier to make a case for Harry Kane being the best striker in the world than it would be for Daniel Sturridge being as good as him.
Yeah, fair point. That said, do you think that's going to be a successful move for him at West Brom? And West Brom, who are bottom of the league at the moment, Southampton are third bottom, I think. This is a massive game for both those teams.
Yeah, I hope it works out for Sturridge. There were times at Chelsea when he looked unplayable. He was such a good finisher. There were times at Liverpool when he was linking up with Luis Suarez where you just thought, this bloke is so good. He's had his moments for England, scoring a winner against Wales in Lille, or just next door to Lille, was a brilliant moment as well. But feels like he's a long way away from that man. The man that he was then. I don't know if that man is around anymore.
I think he is. I feel like he is. I feel like Liverpool he just can't cope with that way of playing football. It's pressing like they do, and also the front players they're the trigger for that press.
Yeah.
So that's got to be exhausting mentally, I think, for a lot of strikers. And I think he's got a bit of an ego to him, which I think is useful to have. But I think him having to do that work just doesn't suit him at all. I think he'll fit
and he's a
West
Brummie, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's a Brummie, so he'll be back playing at West Brom. I mean, it could work out. I hope it does. I'm not too optimistic though.
Okay. Southampton haven't won in 11.
I know.
Really struggling. They've signed Carrillo from Monaco, 19 million quid. Big guy. I think he's 6'2" or 6'4". He's big guy. He scored, I think he scored 10 goals and like 5 of them at least, or 8 of them are like all headers. So he's a big guy.
I don't know. Manuel Pellegrino just doesn't seem to know what he's doing.
Their goal difference is like -11, which is miles better than the other sides, and I think that says a lot. They just cannot score goals. They play really good football, and I know everyone's heard this when it comes to Southampton. So with Carrillo, it's a massive opportunity there to have another way of scoring goals when it's not working for you. He's been at Monaco, so he's got something about it.
It just didn't happen, did it? I think about this time last year, they had Gabbiadini pinging him in.
Yeah, and I think that's what they'll hope will happen here, right?
What do you want from me? A scoreline here?
I'm looking for I mean, with Fan League, obviously you don't have to give the exact scoreline. You just got to get the result right. So
okay.
What do you think it's going to be here?
Southampton win this game.
Southampton win this game. Okay, I'm going West Brom with guaranteed victory here. That's a banker for me. Okay.
But you're wrong, so it's not.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Maybe 1.5 hedge. Second game. This is just an opportunity for me to have a little rant. Queen's Park Rangers playing Barnsley. Barnsley have won 1 game in 15, I think it is. Something like that. We need to win this game. We desperately need to win this game. And I'm going to be at the game this weekend. It's going to be incredibly tense.
Is it? Why?
Because I don't know if it is that tense. I read a really interesting article about being a mid-table team and how it's like... It's so confusing because you'll have a couple of good games and you think, oh, hang on a minute, we could do something. And then you'll have a couple of bad games and you think, oh, right, you're horrific. And that's definitely been the way with QPR the whole season. We had quite an optimistic start, but the Championship, there's another phrase that was used in this article I thought was great, is that it was the amount of games that it feels like it's just 11 players just banging into each other. Like there's a lot of like
Robot Wars.
It's just like, yeah. Exactly, and then you play Middlesbrough and they've got Circular Lot and all these guys. I just think there's games where we probably could have got a win or a draw, and there's games that we shouldn't have won and we have.
But what's the dream? You're not hoping of going up?
Not at all, and you've got no chance of that.
Can you go down?
You want like an optimistic mid-table finish I'd be really happy with, but the worry is when there is so much money in the Championship, so it is a struggle to stay in it in itself, and you've got to be smart with how you put together a squad. Both Barnsley and us, we have to behave that way now.
Could you go down though?
We could easily go down.
Oh, I see. That's why it's tense.
And
you're looking.
And Barnsley are around the same kind of spot. and are struggling themselves. And we've got a really massive month. We lost last week against Bristol City, and they hadn't won in 7. They played Man City in the week, and they had a man sent off after 32 minutes, and we still lost 2-0.
Yeah, it's a problem.
So the fans are kind of turning a bit, and that's
You're
never
not
nice.
You're not.
Not yet. But I tell you, I'm not happy. I'm not happy after last week. So it's a big game for me. Our home form is decent. So I'm praying. I'm annoyed that we didn't get anyone in the transfer window. We needed a striker quite desperately. But it's a huge game. But I'm going for QPR this week, obviously. You don't know much about it.
Can I have a shout here?
Go on.
Barnsley.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for that. Maybe another one to half heads then. And finally, the biggest game of the weekend, Sunday, Liverpool versus Spurs. We've spoken about the Champions League struggle in the podcast. Which out of these two teams do you think is going to finish higher?
I think Liverpool will win this game.
Yeah, I think the attacking prowess, especially at home, they look really, really strong. Spurs, really tough run of games. Beat Man United though, did really well. 2 goals that were quite lucky, I would say. In the first one after 10 seconds, which was poor defending. Second one, I don't know what Phil Jones is doing. It was embarrassing, but he often is. But they have got a good side. If they can get this, then they're in good shape to get into the top 4. I think this one could easily be a draw for me. But I think, if you've got to pick one, I'd go Liverpool as well. So there you have it. Those are our predictions for this week, game week 26 of Fan League. If you want to get involved in Fan League, you can do. Click on the link in the description. Let us know your thoughts and your predictions for the games this week in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe to Fan League, and we'll see you soon.
Download the app and join today.